A night sky burned red as the first of the giants came over the hills. They were like nothing the people of Emberfield had ever seen. Monstrous beings that seemed part flesh, part living metal. Their towering forms glowed with eerie green veins, and each step they took sent tremors through the earth, toppling fences and shattering windows. Old Thomas, the village blacksmith, had barely enough time to pull his granddaughter into his arms before their cottage was flattened beneath one of the creature's feet. All across the village, people screamed, fled, or fell to their knees, hopeless. From the town hall, Mayor Jonah Reed watched in horror as his home, the only home he'd ever known, was reduced to rubble. But even as fear gripped his heart, he did not run. He clenched his fists so tight his knuckles bled and swore that Emberfield would not fall. Not tonight, not ever. The days that followed were filled with chaos. The giants came in waves, appearing at nightfall and retreating at dawn. They did not kill indiscriminately, but destroyed homes, stole livestock, and tore down the forest around the village. The people of Emberfield were terrified. Jonah called meetings in the old church, the only building still standing tall. His people begged him, "Mayor Reed, we have to go. There's no shame in fleeing. We can start over somewhere safe." But Jonah shook his head. "This is our land. Our ancestors built these fields. These giants, whoever they are, they won't drive us out. I promise you that." But his promise rang hollow as the attacks continued. Each night, more families slipped away under cover of darkness, seeking refuge in distant cities. Within a week, Emberfield had dwindled to barely 100 souls. Even his closest friend, Lena, the schoolteacher, pleaded with him. "Jonah, please, you can come with us. You've done all you could." But Jonah stayed. He watched them go, his heart breaking a little more each time. On the 10th night, after the giants' raid had ended and the village lay in smoldering ruin, Jonah sat alone in the town hall, staring at the old radio transmitter he'd kept as a hobby. Out of desperation, he had been trying to reach someone, anyone, for help. Governments had ignored them. Cities were too far. And then it happened. A crackling voice, deep and cold, echoed through the static. "You speak?" Jonah froze. His hands trembled over the radio. Yes, I speak. Who are you? Why are you doing this?" A pause. Then, "We are the Volgrath. We seek sustenance. This place is convenient." Jonah swallowed his terror. His mind raced. "Convenient? There are bigger cities, more resources. Why Emberfield? The weak are easier to take." A spark of anger flared in Jonah's chest. "We're not weak. Your homes burn. Your people flee. What would you call it?" Jonah stared out at the dark horizon where the giants slept in the valley below. His voice steadied. "I would call it a mistake to think we're beaten." That night, Jonah struck a bargain. He would tell the Volgrath of richer places, places with more food, metal, and resources, if they left Emberfield alone. At first, it felt like betrayal. Could he truly trade another city's safety for his own? But as the Volgrath leader spoke of conquest, Jonah realized the truth. These invaders would not stop at Emberfield. No deal could save the world. But perhaps a deal could buy time. So Jonah offered them a target, Riverton, a walled city 50 miles to the east. Jonah did not sleep that night. His mind churned with guilt and strategy. He wrote messages, sent pigeons, and risked brief radio calls to warn Riverton and other nearby towns. "They're coming. Prepare. Fortify. I'll delay them as long as I can." When dawn broke, Jonah stood atop the church steeple, watching the giants stir in the valley. Lena had returned, unable to leave him behind. "What are you doing?" she asked softly. "Buying us all a chance," Jonah said. The Volgrath giants set off toward Riverton that evening, moving as a single terrifying force. But they did not know that Riverton's mayor, warned by Jonah's message, had gathered allies, soldiers, engineers, scientists. They had prepared traps, hidden mines, electromagnetic pulse cannons built in haste by human ingenuity, old war satellites reactivated to rain down fire from above. The battle for Riverton was fierce, but the Volgrath were unprepared for the resistance. Their machines faltered under EMPs, their flesh burned under orbital strikes, and all the while, Jonah led a small band of Emberfield's last defenders, harassing the Volgrath's supply lines, sabotaging their communication beacons. The turning point. The Volgrath leader contacted Jonah again, his voice filled with fury. "You lied. You betrayed us." Jonah answered with grim pride. "No, I gave you a chance to leave. You chose war. And humans, we don't break so easily." Word of Emberfield's defiance and Riverton's victory spread. Across Earth, people rallied. Small villages and mighty cities alike prepared to resist. Nations united, old grudges forgotten, in the face of a common enemy. What made humanity special was not just strength or numbers, it was heart. It was the stubborn courage of a mayor who refused to abandon his home. It was the loyalty of friends who came back, even in the face of death. It was the brilliance of engineers who turned scrap into weapons, and the unity of a species that, when pushed to the brink, stood together. The Volgrath, weakened and disoriented, made one last attempt to crush Emberfield. Jonah and Lena led the defense. Old farmers became warriors. Children carried messages between trenches. Even the land seemed to fight back. The forests they had once cleared for farmland now hid ambushes and traps. When the Volgrath flagship descended, Jonah was ready. The humans stormed the alien ship, using the Volgrath's own technology against them. Jonah himself planted the final charge in the enemy's command center. As the ship exploded over Emberfield's fields, Jonah looked to the sky, exhausted but triumphant. Emberfield rose from the ashes, its people rebuilt, stronger than before. The Volgrath fled Earth, their invasion shattered by the resilience of a species they had underestimated. Years later, children played where giants once walked, and the story of Jonah Reed, the mayor who outwitted an alien empire, was told around every hearth. Not as a tale of betrayal, but as a legend of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable spirit of humankind. Sometimes, what makes us strong isn't our weapons or our walls. It's our heart, our cleverness, and our will to stand together when it matters most.